Welcome back to the podcast where passion and purpose collide. Rebecca Monet and I are here with an incredibly special, fun guest. Rebecca, tell us who we have and tell us a little bit about her.
We do have a very special guest today, Elizabeth. So with us today is Patty Clisham. She's a Ductz and a UPS franchisee. She's always been in non-normal jobs for women. Her very first job at age 16, she worked at a full-service gas station, and she pumped gas, and she checked the oil, and she washed windows, and she loved it. She also worked right next door at a restaurant as a waitress, where she learned how to work with the public and learned the importance of time management. That experience obviously came in very handy later in life when she became a soils technician on the groundbreaking building of General Motors plant in Missouri. She took drafting at a tech school, high school, because her dad would not sign her paperwork to allow her to take an auto mechanics program. But having that experience got her a drafting job for Honeywell International, where she learned everything and anything about building automation and temperature control. Patty knew she did not want to sit behind a desk for the rest of her life. She went back to school to become a field service technician, and bingo, that was her calling. Troubleshooting electronics and making things work. It was a great career, but she still wanted more. After working in a male-dominated company with little chance of promotion, she decided she was going to work. If she was going to work this hard, she might as well do it for herself, right? And so she found Ductz, and she became the first Ductz franchisee in St. Louis, Missouri in 2007. Then 6 years ago, Patty had the opportunity to purchase a UPS store. The UPS store is a completely different animal than the Ductz business. And I'm hoping today, Patty frickin' Clisham will share with us the difference between a retail business and a service-based business and the skills necessary to run both. So welcome, Patty. We are so delighted to have you on our show today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to talk with everyone, you guys, and share my stories. I don't have all the answers, but I've sure made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I know what not to do.
Yay. Well, before we get into all your great stories, tell me this nickname that you have, this Patty frickin' Clisham that you have. Clisham. Tell me. Okay. Tell me how you got that name.
Okay, so I have a sales manager here, and we were having a very stressful day one day, and we have at the Ductz, on the Ductz side, and it was like crazy. We had all this work, and we had, how are we going to get this done? And so we're sitting down, we're getting a plan of attack, and I'm like, can we do this? Can we do this? And he goes, you can do anything. You're Patty Effing Clisham. And I'm like, yes, I am. And I'm like, that's me. And we did, and we got through everything. So he made me a nameplate, and I'm going to alter it a little bit. So there's my nameplate.
Oh, Patty
Duck Sucker. So that sits on my desk, and that reminds me every day, I'm Patty Effing Clisham, and I can do whatever I need to do to get the job done.
You are a dirty duck sucker.
I am a dirty duck sucker.
That's awesome. Sometimes you just need someone to remind you of who you are, and there it is. Every day.
You do have to be a little careful how you say that. When you say, "Hey, I'm Patty, a dirty duck sucker," make sure you don't, get any vowels turned around. So. But it's fun. In a male-dominated world, you got to have a sense of humor.
Isn't that the truth?
You have to be able to take it and dish it out. And I have a good reputation and repertoire with heating and cooling and mechanics that I work with. And they do respect me, but boy, do we have some jokes that would just curl your hair. I've been able to make a pipe fitter blush.
Hilarious.
Bet you have.
And they respect you all the more for it, I'm sure.
They do. In the beginning, it was tough, though. It wasn't always like that. I mean, when I was first out in the field, when I was a technician for Honeywell, it was a few years back. And so the men see a woman out there and they're like, oh, she's taking a man's job. And, she's out here looking for a husband, she's just looking. And I'm like, no, none of
There's
that.
an idea.
Yeah. Well, I'm already married, so.
Oh, I'm looking for a husband. Maybe I need to get in a Ductz business.
Oh, hey, I got a job opening. So it was tough, even if you're the new person, the new guy on the job, you have to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the new guy that's a woman, you have to prove yourself 110 or 120%. So you have to, I ate lunch a lot by myself in the beginning because nobody wanted to talk to me, and just kind of develop relationships, and you prove, you're there because you have a job to do. Let's take away the XY chromosome thing, and we're all workers, and, just because you have a, XY part.
Girl parts.
Just different parts, that's all.
Girl parts or an XY part, we're
Yeah.
there to do a job. And I've always been interested in how things work. Like I said, my first job working at the gas station, and they do you remember full service gas station?
Of course I do. I'm a boomer. Okay. Yes.
So, a little old lady would pull up and you're like, oh my, and she was surprised. And so check the oil, clean the windows, fill the gas tank and all that. But the funny thing was when a guy would pull up and and then I would come out and he would be like, what, then he would get out and act like, oh, I'm at the wrong pump. I should have been at the self-serve pump. So, but.
That's funny. Well, all of that leads to an interesting question, I think, in terms of your transition from corporate work to business ownership. And one of the reasons that you've talked about making that transition was because you were hitting your head on the ceiling. You weren't being able to be promoted no matter how hard you worked. Your ethics and your abilities were not being appropriately rewarded, in part because you were a woman. So talk to us about the decision from that atmosphere to being able to really control your own destiny, and by building this trust and relationships, being able to, not have a ceiling anymore.
Well, I'll tell you, I work really hard and I'm dedicated. In high school, I think I only missed one day of school the 4 years of high school because I didn't want to miss out on anything. If you ask my mother, she'll tell you I was nosy and I just didn't want to miss out. So, and I didn't want to have to make up anything. I worked for Honeywell for 11 years with very few days off. I didn't get anywhere. I was passed over. I went to go work for another company. They loved me. I was organizational. I was, I'm technical. I have a good technical background, and then got bought by, Johnson Controls back at the good old boys club again, unfortunately. And I just, I worked there for 10 years and I did not have a sick day. I never missed a day every year. Now, it's not to say I didn't get sick. I would usually get sick on a weekend or a holiday, or if I took a day off.
It's all
scheduled it,
all kind of worked out. But I never missed a day. And you could check all my history. In 10 years, I never had a sick day. I was always there on time. I was a dedicated person. Once again, I didn't want to miss out on anything. If I'm not there, what's happening? And it's kind of, it's kind of like now. I mean, I don't want to miss out anything, so I'm out there every day. But I got to the point where I worked so hard, and just being told, so-and-so, John got this job, he's got a family. And it's like, you know what? I have a family, and I have more education and I have more experience. Well, Patty, that's just how it worked out. Well, you know what? I was tired of that. So I decided that I was going to go out on my own. I always knew I wanted to own a business or run a business. I never knew what it was going to be or how it was going to look like. So that kind of pushed me after a reorganization, and I got kind of demoted to the office, and I'm not an office person.
No.
I can tell.
I started putting some things in place, and I found Ductz, and I'm like, and when I started, I went through a franchise, like a franchise consultant. So, and they showed me a couple different ones, but the first one they showed me was ducks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my son had allergies and asthma when he was a kid. I never thought to clean the ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned more about working with restoration companies and working in commercial buildings. Well, that's my background. I know how rooftop units and air handlers work and how ductwork and how valves open and close and fire alarm systems. I know to you guys, this might be boring. I get so excited when I talk about things like this. If I meet somebody that knows building automation and temperature controls, I'm like, I'm all a tingle.
But you know what makes it interesting is your passion for it. Like, I don't really know a lot about that, but listening to you talk makes it interesting because you love it and you can tell you love it. And I love talking to people who have that perspective because it makes you excited about what they do and who they are. You know, I think you could talk to a brick wall and make it entertained.
Well, I have my husband. He heard all my jokes.
Oh,
He's
that's
like,
so funny.
You're not funny. And I'm like, but some people think I'm funny. He goes, well, they haven't heard these for 30 years.
Aww.
But
That's so funny.
I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy working hard. It's if I'm not, I mean, I can't not do anything. So, but it is, you know, to some people it might be a little boring, and then now doing the duct cleaning. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of interesting things. You think duct cleaning, oh, how boring. I got some stories for you. Do you know what people hide up above ceilings in office buildings?
I can only imagine.
Money?
That would be
I haven't really
nice.
found money, but I found some inappropriate things.
Oh no.
You
like
know
what?
goes
Can you
on?
tell us?
I can tell you. There are a lot of pictures I've found.
Oh.
Polaroids. Yes. Here's
for bribery later, right?
Yes.
Blackmail.
Yes. I've seen a lot. I found a lot of flashlights and screwdrivers that other mechanics had left up there, but I found a lot of magazines. Apparently people get bored that work nights and they just put up above the ceiling tiles. So.
Or teenage boys.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're reading The Franchise Woman. That's
right. That's exactly what they're reading.
Yeah.
They're hiding it. Not even going to franchise women. They're not.
I'm not even going to tell you some of the names of these. So.
Okay.
But also, I've found some critters. Is that right?
I do. We find a lot of interesting things. And we have found drug paraphernalia. Ooh. We have found pictures. I do have to tell you about this one set of pictures we found that was in a house, and they were Polaroid pictures, and I did not know they had blow-up dolls in the late 50s, early 60s. Now, the only reason I know that is when they did have some clothes on, that's what the era was. But I had a picture of a blow-up doll.
Oh, hilarious.
A person.
Oh my gosh.
And in the job themselves.
Wow.
I'm going to write a book someday. Things Patty has found in the ductwork.
Wow.
And I'll have pictures. But
I love it.
I'll tell you what started the very first animal that I found in the ductwork. And if they're live, we call animal control. So we don't do anything where there's live animals because we're not trained for that. And frankly, I'm not going up there and I'm not going to send my guys up there if it's a squirrel, raccoons, bats, anything that could have rabies. So that's for the critter control. Right. But I'll tell you, the very first thing I found, yes, this is disgusting. This is it's a possum skull.
Oh, gross.
And it has hair and teeth, and we named him Pete.
Hi, Pete.
This is one of the first ones I found. Now, actually, Pete was the complete carcass in the ductwork, and I have a picture of that as well. And
he's been there for a while.
They got a picture of it. I said, save it. They're like, we're not saving this. I go, save the skull. So they saved the skull. And I started with this one, and I use it when I do presentations because it's like, what's lurking in your ductwork? Because you never know. You move into an older house, you know what could be in there? It could be
possum.
Yeah.
Possum. Pete could be in your ductwork.
He could be in your ductwork. And then, now I know I've kind of advanced some of my little things. So this is a bat that we found, and there is a frog, okay? So
my
what I
gosh.
do is, and I know this is a little creepy, but I make little backdrops. And that piece, the funny thing is that piece of wood came from one of my vacations in Lake Tahoe. I found this little piece of wood, and that piece of black kind of looks almost like asphalt.
Yeah.
It is from St. Kitts. I found it and I kept it and I used it in my little, that's actually some old, or it came from a volcano.
And this
So
is
it's a
art.
little-
This is artwork.
It's
This
a
is my
diorama.
You got
This
a
is
moon.
my hobby right here.
You got this moon in the background. The moon in the background.
Yeah, I find little pictures that I think they're going to go, oh, this is another cute one. So this one, look at this is a little lizard.
Oh my God.
And I found this little desert. I thought that was perfect. Now, this piece of wood came from St. Kitts. So I find different pieces and I bring them home in my suitcase. God knows what the TSA thinks when they open up my suitcase.
If only they knew where it was going to end up.
Exactly. But I just make these, but we find these things in the ductwork. And I find things that are preserved that way. Look at this guy. Look how big this is.
Ooh,
That's
that's
enormous.
disgusting. What?
And it was like he just was walking along and died, but this was in ductwork.
Wow.
So I made him a little grass background, and I use these things when I do presentations. I know.
What's his name, Patty? Do you have
I
a name
don't
for him?
know. I don't think we gave him a name.
I think we call him. Let's call him Ned.
Ned?
Ned. N-E-D. Ned.
It's funny. I have a friend named Ned that I
Ned
worked
the
with at
Dead.
Honeywell.
Ned the dead bug.
Ned the dead bug. Okay, Ned it is. Oh, we do have one more. I'll show you. This
Okay.
we named him Count Duckula.
Oh,
He's a
hilarious.
bat. And so, but if you can see, it's like he just died, and you can see his little paws, how detailed everything is.
Oh,
So we put him in our little thing.
Count Duckula. That is.
Duckula.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's got to be pretty convincing when people are thinking about having their ducts cleaned, that
and
could
they
be
don't-
living in there.
And a lot of times we always take pictures, and we take before and afters. And when the guys are taking the before pictures, that's when they see them and they get them out. We have a snake that's about this big. Yeah. Well, I don't have a case for him yet. And he's kind of delicate, but I need a case. I know. Sorry.
You need to do that
Elizabeth
one because that would be the most convincing of all things.
I know. I got to make a case for him. But
I don't know. The bat. The bat is a close second, girl. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
I have
bats
a lot
are
of-
rabid, but snakes can be poisonous. I don't know. We lived on a farm, so I'm not overly squeamish. But when they're in the house,
Yes, this was
snakes in the house, we've had them come through the fireplace before, and it is just
Oh.
not fun.
Well, and you're in a house and you're in the basement and you move a ceiling tile
Mhm.
and there's a snake skin up there.
Ugh.
There's a snake there somewhere.
Yeah.
So find those too.
Oh, that's right.
Not
Because
a glamorous job.
No, but very
you're-
fun.
Oh, I'm a hoot at a dinner party. I pull out my camera and I'm like, you want to see my dirty pictures? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, it's dirty duck work. So
Dirty
That-
duck.
I have
Amazing.
pictures. I have pictures of my grandsons and my kids, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's some dirt, a dead snake, raccoon poop. Who knows what you're gonna find on there?
Oh, that is amazing. So you've got to have a little bit of a thick skin to get up there and clean all that out.
Yeah, you can't be squeamish. So part of when I hire people, you can't be afraid of dirt. So,
Mhm.
No.
and if you see my sign, do you see my sign?
I love when you talk dirty to me.
Yes.
That is great. So you couldn't be my daughter who squeals like a girl over the side of a roach or a bee.
Yeah. That's me. That's
Is that
me.
you?
Oh, yes. No bugs.
I'm squeamish
so
over
funny.
like accounting spreadsheets. Those I
Yeah.
don't like. I'll clean dead animals every day out of duck work if I didn't have to do paperwork. So
That is amazing. Well, let's switch over to, I want to talk to you a little bit about leadership, because we had talked to you the other day and we were talking about the difference in leading men and women as a female leader, the differences in the issues that you have, the respect that you get, the way that you speak to people. So outside of the crazy dead animals,
when it's down to, so.
Tell us about the experience, because you have two very different, you have a retail store and then you have a service.
I do.
A system. So tell us, there's a lot of differences in the way you have to lead and the way we were talked about know your audience. So if you could tell us some about that, I think that was really important information for people to have.
Sure. So owning Ductz, a service business, we have technicians, great guys. And majority of them are men, and men are different to deal with, and you can tell them, do this, I need you to do this, or you screwed up, and they're like, oh, okay. Well, sometimes if you tell women that, you have to do it a little bit gentler, like, not like you really screwed up and they'll start crying. So we don't want to do that. So you do have to know your audience. I believe that the people that work for me on my service side and my retail side, they respect me. I'm very approachable. If we have a problem, or if there's a problem, I'll come and talk to them. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a yeller. In fact, I've been told I'm too nice sometimes when I have to reprimand people, but it's that, honey vinegar thing, you're going to get, more of a response. And it's not, and I don't want to be soft, but I had so many crappy bosses in my life. I didn't want to be a crappy boss. And I wanted to listen to what my employees have to say. And if they have an idea on doing something different, like, hey, Patty, what about if we did this? Okay, it's not, I don't want to be it's my way or the highway. I want to be able to listen to them and, hear, we have meetings frequently on both sides of the business where I'll buy lunch, bring them in, we'll do safety. We have to do safety. We have to do ladder safety. We have to do tie-offs. We have to do, lockout, tag out. And I bring them in, have lunch. And that's the opportunity, hey guys, what's going on? Is there any concerns, anything that we need to talk about? And a lot of times it's fun joking around and stuff like that. I always want to make sure that they have all the tools that they need to do their job. I don't want them to ever say, Patty wouldn't get us this or Patty wouldn't get us that. That has never happened. So, but it's all about communication. The same thing on the retail side. I'm there frequently. They can email me, text me, what do you need? And I buy them lunch, or if I can't, I'll leave $20 and say, all right, you guys, lunch is on me. So you have to have, let them know, one, that they're appreciated.
Yes.
And that's important. And that you do care. And one of, if somebody's having a family issue or a child, sick kid, those things all come first and work will work its way out. So if you do have something, but it's that communication. So I want them to know that I do care, and if they're happy and I'm happy, and then we're all happy and we make money and we have a big party at the end of the year and celebrate.
Patty, it's interesting. We've had 2 conversations with you, and you are hands down one of the easiest people I've ever had a chance to visit with. And my guess is your employees and your team probably are not concerned at all about what they can say to you, that you're going to take it just at face value. You're extremely approachable. You're easy to talk to no matter what the topic is. So if they're having a challenge, they're having a problem, they have whether it's with family or with business, it seems your approachability is a big part of your leadership skills that you possess. Is you're safe to come to and to say, hey, this is what's going on, or I need some help here, or I need additional resources.
I appreciate that. And I do pride myself on that. I've read a lot of books through the years, and it's basically, it's not me. It's not Patty and Ductz. It's the team. And and I have a little saying on my board, and it's none of us are as good as all of us. And I do mean that. I mean, I can sell, I can talk, I can do all of that. But if my team isn't happy and if they don't produce what I promise to the customer, then we're not going to be successful. And that's why I take care of these guys and, how's your job, and sometimes just, flip them a $20 or a $50 bill, or sometimes just for the heck of it, here's a $20 gas card or something like that, something, that they don't, and they don't expect those things, but that they know that I care. And I've helped some of my guys that have been in a pickle and lent them some money, or ended up giving them money. But I mean, it's okay because I've been there and I know how hard it is sometimes, but I want to be that person, and it's like, that's just how I am. And I think
definitely are.
I think that's important, and I want to just lead by example. And so I hope, I get the guys in here. I get a lot of tech school guys on the Ductz side that are going to HVAC school. So I know when they leave, they're going to go out do heating and cooling. But while they're here with me, they're going to learn a lot of different things and a lot of different situations. And it's more of a safe learning environment. And hopefully I can help coach them and help them how to talk to customers, because you can teach anybody anything. You can teach brain surgery. Not that I want to do brain surgery, but you can't teach personality, and you can't teach how somebody can talk to a customer. You can have the best technician in the world, but if he can't relate to the customer, then that's a problem. So, I try and work with these guys and talk to them and be, on a personal level. So I never had that. And so that's one of the things I wanted to change as being a boss. And I don't even look at myself as a boss, but, I'm one of the guys. Kind of.
Can you, for those that are listening, especially prospective franchisees, there really is a distinct difference between running a retail business where customers are coming in and they're purchasing certain products, in this case postage and shipping and all of those things, rather than a service business. They're very different skill sets, very different business models. Can you address a little bit how those are different and how you're able to shift your hat from retail thinker to service thinker? How are you able?
Well, that's because I'm Patty Effing Clisham.
Because that's right.
Perfect answer. Perfect.
I know. You know what? It is crazy because when I think about what I do on a daily basis, the service side of it, and, we're in people's homes and we're going in there and we have to have, be prepared for that. And then the retail side of it, people are coming in to see you. So, I don't know how I did all this, but they're both important to me. And I like both of them. I like going in a store or whatever business and somebody greets me and, hi, we'll be with you in a minute or something. All my UPS people, they always do that. I get a lot of compliments on how they interact. Now, dealing with the public sometimes is challenging, and sometimes you can't make everybody happy. And so we have to learn how to deal with difficult people. But once again, it's like 99% of the people are easy to work with. But you do have to deal with sometimes the difficult people. I try and, make sure my people know I have their back. So if they're doing their job the way they're supposed to be doing and following the rules, sometimes in the UPS store, we can't ship weapons. Well, people come in and they get really mad about that. So my people have to be calm and they have to explain to the customer and how they can't do that or what they have to do. So just, coaching, but once again, I've had some rude customers and that have been mean to my people, and I have fired those people and told them never to come out of my store. Well, they will use bad language and they will cuss at my people, and I will not stand for that. That is like, so I don't.
Because in that case with the gun, hair trigger is not a hypothetical.
No, that is true. That is true.
There's like a mama bear in you. that's protective of your employees and your team members, that says, you know, I have good people, they're well trained, they're going to take great care of my customers. If my customers aren't treating them with respect and kindness, then I'd rather lose a customer than
Exactly.
a good employee.
And,
Wow.
and it is the same thing at the UPS store as it is at Ductz. At Ductz, we're going into people's homes. People have invited us there to do a bid. They have invited us back to do a service at their house. We have been at houses where we have showed up and the husband or the wife scheduled the service, but the other one didn't know about it, and they were arguing in front of my people.
What?
And my guys are like, Patty, what do I do? And I'm like, you know what? Get out of there. Just pack up your stuff and leave. And it's like, they're going to argue. So you don't want to get in any kind of issue. I don't ever want to put my guys in any kind of unsafe situation. That's another reason why on Ductz, I always have 2 guys for safety and efficiency. But, you know, I am a mama bear and I care. I mean, I really, you know, I do. It's just, that's just part of me, I guess. I'm, you know, I don't know. I'd give somebody the last $20 I had. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. So, but to this point, you're sending them in 2 by 2. What about when you first started the business and you were going in?
Oh, yeah.
Well, as a woman, what did you do?
I'll tell you what, in the beginning, I started Ductz with me and one technician, a young man, and we did all the jobs. And the days we didn't have jobs, I was out networking. I was visiting heating and cooling companies. I was starting to get into trade associations. I was going to chambers. I was doing any kind of networking I could. I was visiting mechanical contractors, which is always interesting because when they see a woman walking in the door, they're like, oh, what is she doing? You know, so.
You showed them who you are.
I did.
Patty
And
Effing.
so it was, it was, you know, it was kind of, I don't know, you got to just let things roll off your back. And you got to just, you know, be, you know, focused on what you're there to do. And, but sometimes the mechanical guys, yeah, they're a little tough to deal with, but, you know, it just, you know, just keep doing it every day. I get that. I could do my sales thing in my sleep, you know. Hey, how many ducks? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing this? You know, how come you're doing duct cleaning? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So it's just habit. But that first year, it was me and that guy. And then the next year, I hired another young man, and that involved me or let me go out and do more networking. And then, so then I just started, you know, growing from there. So I don't know, just working hard. I
think you have to have a sense of humor to be in this business as a woman.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes,
and I was going to ask you, what do you think is the single greatest piece of advice you could give another female franchisee coming into the Ductz system?
Don't be afraid to work hard. And I mean, I think I'm just wired different. That first conversation that we had, I don't know what makes me do what I do. My husband was a union electrician for many years, and then now he works for me. But he was a 7 to 3:30 guy. So when he got off work, that was it.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I'm trying to make him into an entrepreneur, and that's not really working. I'm still trying. But for some reason, I just keep going because it's not done. You know, nothing's ever done when you own your business. And they say, oh, have your own business, work your own hours. Every single one of them. That's like,
that is true. Truth.
You're never off, you know. I mean, and we do night jobs and we do weekend jobs and, you know, so, but that's okay. I don't know. It's just this drive in me, and I don't know if I'm trying to prove something to myself or I just am crazy. It's possible. That
Maybe
that's
both.
it.
Maybe
So,
both. Right?
and I laugh about this sometimes. I'm like, God did this to me because God did not want me to have any spare time. So I have two businesses. I belong to 4 chambers. I'm very active. I'm the president of one of the chambers this year. I'm very active in the trade association for the heating and cooling contractors. In fact, I had a board meeting today. I'm on the golf tournament. Oh, I'm always the ball sponsor. Everybody's all excited what Patty's balls say.
I bet. I can only
But I
imagine.
always put little sayings on my balls. And my balls this year for the golf tournament are going to have a mask on them.
Oh,
And
cute.
it's
Oh, how
and they're
cute.
going to have my logo, my Ducks logo, and then it's going to say 2020. And I wanted it to say 2020. Well, actually, it says 2020 sucks.
Yeah.
So these are
That was what was
collective-
going in my head. 2020
Well-
sucks ducks.
Well, I was almost, I wanted on there 2020 sucks balls. Because they're golf
Oh.
balls, you know.
Golf
They
balls,
are.
yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you are trouble. You are trouble.
I am sorry about that.
So
Good.
Love it.
I hate to do this, but because we could go on and on and on with you for 100 years, but we do have to wrap up. I think I agree with you that this drive that you have in you is God-given. And I think it is to keep you so busy and so involved that you don't get into trouble. Because if that energy was not directed to growing a business, who knows what kind of trouble you could get into.
And Rebecca, you're absolutely right. And my mother worries. She goes, you work so hard and you need to slow down. You're going to wake up one day and be old. I go, well, I am kind of, but Mom, if I wasn't, who knows where I'd
You'd be
be.
in trouble.
So I'm taking this energy and I'm focusing it on the positive, and that's what gets me up every day. And I'm excited every day to be doing what I'm doing. And I don't see slowing down. But my husband did say if I buy one more business that it's possible he could hurt me.
Ow.
I'm teasing. No, I'll just buy it and not tell him.
There you go.
So Patty, how do people learn more about UPS and about Ductz and about you? What would be the best way for folks to do that?
What, to get a hold of me?
To get hold of you?
Oh, anybody could get a hold of me. You can go to the Ductz.com website and you can go to St. Louis. You can Google me, Patty Clisham. I got a litany of, all kinds of things I belong to. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I talk to a lot of potential Ductz owners. I've talked to some women. I mean, it is tough, physically, it's not easy, but I'm not afraid of hard work. But Patty Clisham, you can find me, Google me, Ductz in St. Louis. My phone number's out there. You probably, I'm all over.
Thank you, Patty. Wow, I'm worn out. Thank you, Patty, for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. We're probably going to give you a call and see about having you come back another time if you don't mind.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you asking me, and I hope that that if I can encourage somebody else, another woman to, take that step, take that leap. I mean, it's scary. There's no doubt about it, but you don't know. And what is it? You miss all the opportunities that you don't take or whatever, strikes or whatever baseball analogy that is. Don't be afraid to try because you don't know. So, I mean, just there's, the worst thing that could happen is somebody could say no or something doesn't work out. I mean, it's not like somebody's going to throw anything at you, so you strike out. It's like, okay, we'll get up and do it again or learn a different way of how to do something. So, but don't be afraid to try. And there's a huge opportunity out there for women in unusual businesses.
Unconventional.
Unconventional, yes, unconventional. And, and it's a lot of fun too. Just seeing the look on people's face when you walk in, they're like, oh, what does she know? And then you let them know what you know.
There you go.
So, but this was fun. Thank you so much for
Thank
asking
you.
me.
Absolutely.
I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All righty. Thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks, Patty.
Bye. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.